Edition of Let the Fans Speak. I know this is short notice. I found out yesterday that I finally get to interview someone that I wanted to. So that's why we're a little bit, probably not going to have anybody watching this live, but that's okay. So right now I'm going to... So I've invited my person to go live with me. As soon as they accept it, we will start. Hello! Hold on a minute. Can't see you. I can't see you. Alright, so I'm going to put my phone volume up. Alright, so hi. Your sound isn't working. Somebody's sound isn't working.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can, Alfonso. How are you?
Good, not too bad. I'm going to turn the camera off because I'm driving, so I can't really...
Yeah, no worries. That's all good. No worries.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Are you ready to get this stuff on?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So what we're basically going to do is we're going to take it back to when you guys formed your band Heartsick. So,
Sure.
what was that like? Did the lineup change drastically? What exactly happened?
So the band started in 2000, but we had a different name. And what it was Know Lyfe, and it was spelled KNOWLYFE. And
Okay.
we all pretty much met in college. Myself and our guitar player Jared, he and I met in college, and then we ended up going to the music store that was around our campus, and we looked at one of those like sort of like musicians wanted ads that you could pull like a little piece of paper from. And we saw one that was looking for like a bass player or whatever. And at the time, I was a bass player and not actually the singer of any band. So I had just moved to Michigan.
Right.
So myself and my guitar player called the number that was seeking band members. And I said, hey, I'm a bass player, but I got a guitar player with me. Do you have room for him to come with too and try out? And they said, yeah, sure. So we showed up. And essentially, that's kind of how the band started. And from there, we just kind of got the band going. I ended up becoming the singer because we booked a show at the end of the year, in the year that the band started. And we couldn't find a singer. So one day we were walking out of a Best Buy and we ran into who would become our bass player, Waylon. And we asked him if he wanted to come jam with us on bass. And he said, sure. So he came and it jammed out and I got on vocals. And it just worked really well. Like we just had an immediate connection. So that's how the band started. We then, for the first, 14 years that we started becoming an established band under the name Know Lyfe, we ended up having our drummer pass away. So when our drummer passed away, we had gotten a new drummer, and we were kind of, juggling the idea of changing the band name because we had gotten a couple of managers that suggested it as they felt the old name was dated. So, we kind of went through our minds and sort of, thought about what that decision would make happen for us. And I think ultimately we changed the name to Heartsick because it was a way to sort of shed the old skin of the band that we used to be,
Mm-hmm.
but also pay tribute to our drummer who passed away because our old drummer, Matt, he really hated the band name Know Lyfe, thought it was super cheesy. So it was kind of a sort of rebirth of the band due to a couple of circumstances. One of those being his passing, but so that's how we became Heartsick, and that's how we met.
Well, first off, I'd like to say I'm sorry about the loss of your drummer. That's got to be really tough still to this day.
Yeah, I mean, it's never an easy thing. I think, for us, I don't think that we think about it like a lot, like we used to. I think it's a part of our history. When a conversation comes up, I think it always pretty immediately comes to the surface. But I mean, it's part of life. Unfortunately, it just his life came to an end a lot sooner than any of us would have liked.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I feel like we all think that he would be super stoked where the band has gone. So, I appreciate it, but I think it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough. So you mentioned you're on the road now. Where are you headed to, and where were you coming from?
Yeah, so we were in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We're out on tour with Nonpoint and Crobot. It's called the Painful Statements Tour. Nonpoint is celebrating two records in one tour. Their two records that they're celebrating are the two most popular records, which are Statement, which was their first major label release, and then
To
they're
the
also celebrating To the Pain, which was their last major label release right before they went independent, I believe. Um, so we're on the road with them. We're the opening band on that. We just played Chattanooga, Tennessee, a place called the Barrel House Brewery
nice.
Ballroom. It's the Barrel House Ballroom. And tonight is a night off, so we left Chattanooga in the morning. We were supposed to already be in Gainesville for the night to stay at the Airbnb that we have. Well, we got a little sidetracked with Buc-ee's and Whataburger, so we're a little late. But we'll be there sometime around 8 p.m. tonight. And yeah, so we are playing tomorrow in St. Petersburg, Florida, at a place called Janus Live. So that's where we're heading.
Oh, nice. Very, very cool. See, I like it when bands prefer to get Airbnbs than hotel rooms because not only is it cheaper sometimes, but like you literally have every single accommodation in a house right
Yeah,
there. You don't have to.
it's funny because we didn't ever think about the Airbnb thing as an option. Not because we didn't think it didn't exist, but because I think we're so used to thinking about the traditional hotel thing.
Mhm.
But we had a situation on this tour where essentially we had reserved some hotel rooms for a couple of days. When we got to the hotel, our reservations were rescinded and they kept our money.
Ooh.
And it was a good chunk of money. And realistically, we just got taken for a ride financially by this hotel. Um, and we were kind of in a bind. And we're like, okay, well, let's look at Airbnbs. And it ended up, as you say, we've discovered that Airbnbs are much cheaper and more value than a hotel room will ever be. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, you don't have to walk the hallway to get ice. You can just walk to the fridge.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Um. So you've been has the lineup changed drastically, other than the drummer being replaced for very tragic and obvious reasons?
No, we've been very fortunate. The core of the band, myself, our bass player, and our guitar player, Waylon and Jared, we've been in the band since day one. It's always been us. Drummers have changed; they've come and gone. But our current lineup with our current drummer, I really feel it's the lineup, and I feel like it's probably the best lineup that we've had in the sense of someone behind the drum kit, but also somebody who contributes and wants to actively contribute to the writing process and the whole creating process, which that's something as a band that we really enjoy. Always, we've always been a band with an open door policy in the sense of like everybody's welcome to throw in ideas and help the project thrive rather than have one person that's like, this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing it.
Right.
That's never been our style. So it's nice to have somebody come in and really embrace that mentality with us. And I think it's only made us better. So other than that, I mean, the drummers have changed for sure. We've had, and since 2014, we've had two different drummers. This will be the third. So yeah, so I mean, it's been pretty nice. But the core of the band has always been myself, our bass player, and our guitar players.
Oh, nice. I like that. I like how the lineup doesn't change too drastically, so you don't like, because when that happens with a lot of bands, then you gotta credit the old band members, and then some of the old band members are off doing their own thing. They don't acknowledge the fact that they don't acknowledge the fact that you're acknowledging them for what they did for you back in the day. There's a lot of bands
Oh
like
yeah,
that
for
now.
sure.
Yeah.
And we're really lucky. Our the former members that we have, minus one, we're all still very cool with, still close with. We're still friends with them. The reasons for leaving the band were strictly, family or financially, you know, motivated. It wasn't like, oh, we don't like you, none of that. It was, this is not an easy path to take. You have to make a lot of sacrifices. You have to put in
Right.
a lot of effort, put in a lot of work for many times a little return, if any return at all. So you really, it sounds cliche, but if you really want to be in a quote unquote touring band, trying to quote unquote make it, you really have to set certain personal, I guess, goals aside and focus on the collective goal, and
Right.
that can suffer some people. It can wreak havoc on your relationships with your spouse, your friends, your family. It can wreak havoc, with your life to work balance. Like, I mean, it's tough. It's not easy, and the members that would eventually leave the band behind the drum kit, are there was never any ill will or animosity with any of them. It was just they were at a point in their life where it wasn't something that they felt they could put more of a focus on as other things were suffering in their life. And we understand that, and that's fine. That's okay.
That's really cool though. Like, yeah, you gotta set aside differences and focus on the reason why you're doing this,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, well, my podcast is based on music, clearly. Let the Fans Speak is the name of it. So I'm going to ask you, what are some of your favorite bands, and what are your other band members' favorite bands? And what got you into the field you're in now?
I know for a fact that all of us share um a lot of favorite bands together in the sense of like, there's a core of bands that we as a group enjoy very much. So I know that like the Deftones is a band that we all really love. Gojira is a band we all really love. Meshuggah is a band we all really love. System of a Down, that's a band we all collectively really love. Tool, a band we love. Korn, things like that. But then us as individuals, we of course have our favorite sort of bands. Our bass player is very much the person in the band that likes the most underground, like heavy band. So he's very much into like hardcore music. So bands like Not Blues, bands like Madball, bands like uh you know Donnybrook, or bands like Body Snatcher, things like that. He's very much into. I'm very much into bands that are heavy but have a lot of like ethereal or synth type industrial vibes. So I'm a real big Deftones fan. I'm a very big Sleep Token fan. Filter, uh, things like that. The Birthday Massacre is a big fan I love. Churches. Our guitar player is very much the person in the band that really likes heavy metal, like the traditional heavy metal, Killswitch Engage, Anthrax, Metallica, Megadeth, Testament, um, things in that realm that are, metal, Lamb of God, Gojira. Our drummer is the youngest one in the band. Most of us are all in our early 40s. He's in his early 20s.
Okay.
So he's very much the guy in the band that likes a lot of the more modern heavy bands, bands like Bad Omens, bands like Hooligan, bands like Bring the Horizon, um, I Prevail, things in that realm is what he's really into. And I think collectively that all works for us. It keeps us all within the state of discovering each other's new bands that we're kind of like into within the genre that we kind of gravitate towards to in heavy music. But
Right.
yeah, I would say those bands are all collectively like a good representation of what we like to listen to within heavy music.
Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. Hold on one moment. I'm sorry, Alfonso. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry about that.
You're okay.
So, let's see. What is one song in your band that you are most proud of, if you can?
It's a good question. We get I get that question a lot in different and like in different contexts. But in this context, a song that like I personally am the most proud of. Um, there's it. Well, okay. We have a bunch of songs that are released, and of course, we love all those songs. But in this context, there, I'm going to go with two songs. I'm going to go with two songs. One that, even though I'm talking about it, doesn't make sense because the song's not going to be out for a while. And then one that's been out for a long time.
Okay.
The one that's out that I'm very proud of that we've released and I feel is like a representation of the band as a whole, as all the types of sounds that we like to incorporate to our music is a song called Where the Trees Touch the Sun. I feel like that's a great representation of what this band is, and it's a song that doesn't feel like it gets old when we play it. It still feels like, oh, cool, this is a
Right.
fun play. And I'm really proud of that one because I feel like we did a really good job of being able to incorporate all the different aspects of what we are musically, but also what we are as people. And what I mean by that is culturally, I feel that song has all of the different cultural vibes that represent this band. You know, as our bass player is 100% Native American. I'm 100% Hispanic. You know, our guitar players, you know, as Anglo as you can become. Our drummer is, you know, Anglo and Hispanic. So it's, I think that's a really good song that I'm proud of because it was able to incorporate all these little nuances of what we are as a band, not just within a musical sphere, but within a personal identity sphere. And then a song I'm really proud of that, like I said, I mean, it doesn't matter because no one's gonna hear it for for a little bit. But there's a song that we just recorded, um, and I'm really proud of it. You know, I feel like we stepped completely out of our comfort zone and tried something that personally, you know, personally, I don't gravitate towards country music at all. It is not my thing. I don't like listening to country very often, if never at all. You have to be, for me personally, you have to be like really, really crafty as a country music artist for me to even consider listening to music that's country.
Right.
But if, I don't know, for me, if it feels uncomfortable in the musical sphere, then I think it's worth exploring because that then says you became too comfortable in sitting in a box before you create. And I don't ever want us to be so comfortable that we put out the same record 5 different times. And that
Right.
works for some bands, and that's okay. I just don't think that that's our vision as a band. So this particular song, it's called Reclaim the Night. I'm really proud of that one because we got a buddy of ours who's a country music guy. We used to be in like more heavy rock, kind of radio, active rock type of band. And we brought him into the studio. And we just, you know, we really didn't have a goal for this song. We were just like, we want to add all these elements into a song. And the finished product, I personally feel is probably one of the best songs you've ever done. And I'm really excited to
Right.
get it
Yeah.
out because I really think it's probably one of the best, if not the best song we've ever done yet. Like, honestly. And not because, like, it's our music or whatever, but it's ambitious in all the right ways. And it could have been a complete train wreck of a song, but it's like getting into a race car, not having any race car experience, just like being a person that likes to drive fast down the road and winning a drag race, never doing
Yeah.
it. It's like, this could have been really bad, but it worked out.
Yeah. Right. No, that's cool though. I like that idea. I love that idea. Actually, it's a very good idea. So how did Rose Casket Diary happen?
Oh man, yeah, that's an oldie but goodie. Yeah, we just brought that song back too. That's funny. Um, that song, man, we wrote that a long time ago. I If memory serves me correctly, Rose Casket Diary was one of the first songs we wrote when we changed the name over to Heartsick, and that was we ended up for the longest time as a band when we were called Know Lyfe. We only really played 6-string guitars, and we always tuned to C. But we had done a tour with a buddy of ours who was filling in on bass because our bass player at the time couldn't do this particular tour. So
Right.
he had a couple of 7-string guitars that he was getting rid of and sold them to me for like dirt cheap. And I just became obsessed with playing on these 7-string guitars. And it was one of the first songs that we wrote with a 7-string guitar that we would eventually go and record. And that just kind of came about because, yeah, it was just like I had gotten these two new guitars. I was feeling really inspired. We were kind of thinking about changing the band's sound to a degree with lower tunings. And that was one of the first songs that we wrote together. So,
Oh wow, it's a good one, that's for sure.
yeah, it's a really fun song, super fun song.
Um, so I actually started listening to you guys. Rose Casket Diary was the first song brought up to me by the guys in 40 Below Summer.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Max and Joey. I love those guys. It's great.
Yeah, Max and Joey and Anthony. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I've
Anthony. Yeah,
I've known you guys for a while now. So
that's awesome.
yeah, so I'm really excited about this interviews happening.
Good. I'm glad we can make it happen for you.
I'm sorry. But yes. So let's see. We tackled your name, Know Lyfe, into Heartsick. We tackled Rose Casket Diary, your two favorite songs. Favorite bands as a band and then individually. Is there any artists out there that you'd want to collaborate with that you haven't yet?
I mean, a million artists. If we had the budget, I think we'd be calling at least 7 or 8 different folks. But if I had to pick one that I think all of us collectively would be like, yeah, let's do that. Um, they're not in the metal realm at all. This particular band isn't a metal band, but we're all just really big fans of their tunes. They're a band called Churches.
Okay.
And I'm obsessed with their singer's voice and just how they write their music and stuff. I would love to collaborate with them and make something really cool. See what would happen if you put a really heavy band like Heartsick in a room where they synth pop band from Ireland like Churches. What would that bring to life, right?
Yeah.
I'd also, me personally, I would also love to collaborate with Denzel Curry. He's a hip hop artist from Miami. I'm like a really big fan of his. Would love to collaborate, obviously, with Chino Moreno from the Deftones. I mean, that would be probably the single most epic thing we could ever make happen. So yeah, I mean, there's tons of artists that we would absolutely love to collaborate with, and those are a few. But I mean, there's so many names, you know.
Yeah. All right. Let me see. So, do you does Nonpoint hang with you guys after the show? Do you guys party, or you guys just do your separate thing, or?
Oh, we're all friends. You know, Nonpoint is not the type of band that like sits around and parties and goes crazy, but neither are we. I think it's interesting because the dynamic of the bands on this tour, Crobot, Heartsick, and Nonpoint, oddly enough, are all the same. We're very much the type of people that want to sit, have conversations, hang out, make jokes, have a few drinks, and relax, and just hang with each other's company. It's interesting that all of the people on this tour are all very much like that. I think it would be really odd if like Nonpoint was a band that just like destroyed dressing rooms or some shit. They're not. They're very
Yeah.
cool, down to earth, very like familiarly nice dudes who are very cordial, who are very welcoming. Those dudes always welcome us to their, to their green rooms. They're always asking how we're doing. We have conversations with them, but they're very chill dudes, But I mean, which makes sense. Most of those guys have wives, they're married, they have kids, they've got on life that they've built. They've been doing this for so long that the mystique of touring, of that idea of what touring was in the 80s and the parties and the crazy stuff, really doesn't exist within that camp. It's very much, let's stop, let's hang out, let's have some conversation, let's chill, let's get on stage, and let's get to the next show safely type of vibe. And that's super cool with us because we're the same way.
Yeah, oh, definitely, that's cool. Like, you know, you could invite them into your Airbnb and, not have them destroy it, you know? That's always fun.
Yeah, they're very, very nice, humble dudes, you know, and you know, they like to just sit, they like to hang out and talk and have conversations. We see them every night when they do their VIP, and you know, it's really cool to see a band like Nonpoint, who's been around for so long, who's toured with some seriously big bands, and see them give their fans a really cool, really fun VIP package treatment. I mean, those guys, it's not like you go in there and you get a picture with the band and you just leave. It's like those dudes hang out with you, they take pictures with you, they have conversations, they relate to you, they give you their undivided attention for an entire hour. They spend it with you. They don't just come out and say hi and run away into a dressing room. No, those guys are the real deal, man. So it's really cool to see them.
Yeah, no, that's always a plus, because then, you know, you have some bands that be like, all right, well, I gotta go somewhere, so I'm leaving now. That actually happened to me. In 2008, I went to the Zoomies Couch Tour, which is like a skating tour, but it was free. And Alkaline Trio was there. And, you know, everybody loved Alkaline Trio back then. You know, From Here to Infirmary was such a big album. And they hung before their set. And then after, they were supposed to hang again, but they decided to tell everybody that they were going on vacation and they got to go home and pack, and then they just left.
Yeah,
like, come on.
Yeah, you know, that's not cool. You know, we've never. Nonpoint is definitely not that kind of band at all. Those guys are really, really cool. I mean, you know, they're the type of band that, which we witnessed on this tour, that will risk their own lives to finish the set. So,
yeah.
You know?
I was just going to bring that up. How is he doing?
He's great. He's doing great, you know. From what we understand, you know, he had some sort of medical issue that he wanted to finish the set. Rob very much wanted to finish the set, but was advised that if he continued, he could very well not, you know, be able to finish the set and end up, you know, not in a hospital, but somewhere else. And they decided to go ahead and listen to the medical advice, and he went and he spent a day at the hospital getting a bunch of tests done for whatever was going on with him. And he's good now. He's fine. The very next day, he was up and walking and talking and doing absolutely great. So you know, from my understanding and from what we've witnessed, he's doing great. You know.
Yeah. I saw his Instagram post he made shaming people who thought that he was on drugs or alcohol or something.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, that is completely fabricated nonsense from people on the internet who have nothing better to do than to make up stories because they're miserable in their own lives. I can tell you from firsthand accounts that Rob himself doesn't even drink. He doesn't. We've been on the road now playing 5 shows with them, out for 7-8 days or whatever it is so far, and I have yet to see Rob holding a beer, let alone near any type of substance. None of the guys in Nonpoint are out there doing anything crazy. Some of those guys enjoy a glass of wine. Rob is not one of them.
Yeah.
Rob literally gets out of his bus, hangs out in the venue all day, cracks jokes, drinks water, and hangs out. So
Yeah, no, that's really cool though. Like, I have a lot of respect for band members that do that.
he's very cool. All of those guys are great dudes.
So I want to do that. I want to go on tour with the band. That's my dream.
It is absolutely possible. Never give up on your dreams. I'll always tell people that. Always, always, always. You never know what's around the corner, so keep chasing it, you know?
Yep. That's why I started up this podcast, so I can talk to fans, talk to bands, talk to anybody, and get my foot in the door, and let's see where it takes me. But the only thing is with me is I'm trying to get on a YouTube channel, because I have a YouTube channel, but I can't upload the videos from Instagram to YouTube. So
Yeah,
I have to find a way to interview on other avenues. Like, I have Zoom, but I don't know how to use it.
gotcha.
So, I mean, maybe if that happens, I have a better chance of being seen like that, but I don't know.
It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time, you know. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you're just genuine with yourself and you find an avenue that works best for you, if it's Instagram Live, if it's YouTube, Zoom, whatever it is, you know, I think people are still smart enough to gravitate towards that sort of genuine uh, appeal. You know, it just takes a while. It's not something that happens overnight either. You have to really plug away at it lots. You know,
Yeah.
the internet does a really good job of making it seem like things just suddenly manifest out of nowhere, and that's really not the case.
Yeah. It's tough. I started this in September 2024, and I've had less than 10 interviews so far, but I'm not giving up yet. So,
Yeah, it takes a minute. It takes a while to get people to recognize the show. You know, so that's totally cool. I'm having a great time talking to you. So thank you
oh my
for
God,
inviting.
yes. It's so much fun. I actually hope to meet you guys one day.
We'll be back. You're in Jersey, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be back in Jersey this year for sure. We're making some plans to try and hit up, you know, Jersey, New York, the East Coast, more like upper mid, East Coast, and then go back down south, more towards like Texas and Arizona and stuff. So we'll be back for sure. Before 2025 ends, we'll end up in New Jersey again. We promise.
Oh, hell yeah. That'd be awesome. Partying with you guys. Well, just hanging out, really, but
Well, there you go.
it'll be fun. So has the weather changed since you've been on the road, or you don't know?
You know, we've been hoping for better weather. We're finally getting it in Florida. For the last, pretty much until today, the weather has been very cold in most of the states we've played. You know, Kentucky, obviously, Ohio, cold, North Carolina, cold, uh, Tennessee, cold. But now we're just about getting to Florida now, and the weather is now, you know, upper 50s, lower 60s. And obviously, when we hit Fort Lauderdale on Saturday, that'll be definitely in the 70s and the 80s. So the weather's getting better for sure. So it'll be nice to be in what I would call windbreaker or light hoodie weather. But we've definitely still been very much in needing a coat weather.
Oh yeah. You guys are from Michigan, so yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah. See,
Where are you in Michigan?
we are in Lansing, Michigan, so,
Okay. All right.
which is the capital. Lansing is geographically the center of the state of Michigan.
Oh wow. Okay. I
So
used to have. I used to know someone who used to live in a Marquette on the peninsula.
yeah, that's way the fuck up there.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
is the all the way in the UP. That is almost as far as Iron Mountain.
Wow. Yeah. So it's nice to know you guys are going to be a little bit warmer than me because it's going to be cold again next week.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, Michigan's gonna be freezing. We already know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be 17 one day, 22 the other day. Yeah. So it's going to be cold.
Fantastic,
I.
he said with lots of sarcasm.
What are summers like in Michigan?
Oh, like everywhere else. I mean, Michigan summers. Realistically, the weather pattern usually goes. You have winter, and winter usually starts to kick in right around the end of October. Right as October ends, you're starting to get into the 30s.
Right.
And once January hits, you get into the low 20s, and then the single digits, and sometimes the negative digits. And that lasts pretty much all the way until like April. Once you hit April, you start seeing temperatures slowly rise. So you'll go from like low 20s, teens, and through even to March. And then once you hit April, you're getting back into like the 30s, the high 20s. And then right at the end of April, you're getting spring. So like right at about April, you start getting spring weather. So that's anyway from like mid 30s all the way up to like upper 50s. Uh, then you get into late May, and then now you start getting the 70s and the 80s. Usually you have one really solid week of brutal hot weather in Michigan, and that's usually in July. And summer pretty much lasts from right at the end of May all the way into probably like right at the end of August. So you get all four seasons, but they're kind of like they don't last very long. The longest season that is the longest is winter for sure. Winter kind of hits in October, goes all the way into April pretty much, and then from April to early June, it's kind of like spring, and then June all the way into like August is like summer, and then August into like right at the end of October is like fall. So the longest season is winter for sure by a long shot.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, it's just the days seem to slow down and it's really cold and all that. Like this morning I woke up and I thought it was like 1, it was like 11:30.
Yeah. It's the same as Jersey. I lived in Jersey, and I've been in New York a lot of times, and it's about the same. Once you get into July, it gets pretty hot, but for the most part, I'd say New Jersey and Michigan are right on par with almost the same type of weather.
Yeah.
I think the only difference is there's a lot less sun in Michigan in the winter than in Jersey or New York, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I hear. So, what was I going to say? I was going to say something about weather. Oh, yes. So, here's how you get through winter. I'm going to tell you all how you can get through winter a little bit easier. So, I'm a science nerd. I paid attention in science class. So, so daylight savings begins in November and ends in March.
Yep.
So, the day after daylight savings time begins, you get a minute more of sunlight every day.
Yep.
So by the end of this week or beginning of next week, the sun should start setting at 5. And then
Yep.
before you know it, it would start setting at 5:30. And then so in retrospect, aspect, for most people, you got to think about it. For every day we get through winter, we see more light. So,
Yeah. Michigan, it's a little weird because we'll go, you know, once spring hits, our days are longer, but once you're in summer and you get to like August, the sun in Michigan doesn't go down to like 9:30 at night. But then when the winter hits, by this time you've gotten so used to the sun being out to like 9:30, almost 10, that when winter hits, the sun goes down at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and you're like, what is happening right now?
yeah.
So
Yep. Yeah, I hate that. Not a fan.
big
But,
shots in the system.
yeah, I know, right? But it's got to happen that way. So, are you guys affected by the drones or no?
No, you guys got all that weird, crazy drone activity out there. Not at all. We don't really see any of that stuff.
Oh,
Michigan's a pretty boring state.
I had a family member attend college out there in East Lansing. So,
Yeah. I go to Michigan State University.
so did they actually.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah. Um, so yeah. Let's see. Do you have any questions for me? I mean, I'll answer anything. Anything you got. Any of your band members, I don't care.
No. Just we're appreciative of you asking us to be on your podcast, and I always love having conversations with people and talking, and I always find that to be really fun. I'm a very social person. I enjoy conversation, so thank you for thinking of us as a band and as an artist that you enjoy, and giving us a platform to talk about our art and other things as well. So, yeah, no, we appreciate you very much.
Oh yeah, no worries. So this podcast typically can go on for another 13 minutes. I don't know if you want it to, only because I know you're driving. So if
If you have any other questions for me, feel free to ask. If not, no problem.
let me see. What is your favorite Deftones song?
My favorite what now?
Deftones song.
Oh shit. Good question. If I have to look at their whole catalog as a whole, I would probably say my favorite Deftones song is probably Around the Fur. I have to go with that song. I think that song pretty much embodies all the things that Deftones can be and is as a band. I feel like they are really a shining example of how you can evolve. And that song specifically, as someone who loves heavy music, just has all the components that I love of what heavy music is. They have, a really heavy kind of breakdown part of it, and they have a really cool sort of uh, high tempo verse, and then they have a very powerful sort of chorus that has a little bit of like singing and some heavy screaming. So yeah, I'd say that's definitely my favorite song for sure.
I know you're a Deftones fan. I don't know if you heard it, but I'm pretty sure you've heard of the band Blacktop Mojo.
One more time.
Blacktop Mojo.
Yeah, we know those guys. We've played with Blacktop Mojo before. Yeah, we played with them. Michigan.
They do an amazing acoustic version of Change in the House of Flies. So I don't know if you've heard it.
Huh? I'll have to check it out.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I'll have to check it out. Those dudes are, we know those dudes. They're very nice guys.
Oh, that's so cool that you actually know them. Oh my god. Now I'm super jealous because they're awesome.
Super nice guys.
Yeah, I definitely want to be in the music business.
Keep plugging away. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Yeah, I want to be, I want to be out there, It's where I've
Consistency.
always wanted to be. My dream job was to be a radio DJ, but I never went to college, and I kind of wish I did, but I didn't. So there goes that one. Um,
Consistency is the formula towards success.
yes, yes, yes. Just keep it up with just being consistent is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to interview as many people as I can, although it's only on Instagram. But what happens is it posts to my Facebook by default. So more people see it then. So then, they'll know my Instagram channel and, but I mean, I really want to start interviewing on my YouTube channel, but I can't. Once I hit 50 subscribers, I can go live with anybody. Right now I'm at 18. So,
Keep pushing it. We'll,
but
we'll share this too. So when you send me a link, I'll share this, okay?
uh, I I can actually invite you guys as collaborators.
Good. Awesome. Well, that's fantastic.
So
People will see it.
that's awesome. So you got about 9 minutes left. I have a question because I've been addicted to Red Bull and energy drinks for a very long time. Do any of you guys consume energy drinks?
Uh, I don't. Band members. I think our our drummer dabbles in a couple of energy drinks here and there. Um, most of us aren't such big energy drink guys as we are coffee guys. We mostly love coffee. Now, people in our camp, like our manager, really loves energy drinks, monsters, or like sugar-free Red Bulls. But for us, as just individual members in the band, most of us just like to drink coffee. I don't really drink energy drinks too much because I can't take like my body physically freaks out and I get all shaky and shit if I drink like energy drinks.
Right.
Um, you know, the guys when they have an energy drink, it's usually as a chaser for their liquor. so
Right. Yeah.
so that's usually in the context an energy drink is being used. Um, but no, yeah, for us it's however, we just started um, a nice little collaborative relationship with a company called Deathless, and they do more like the natural, holistic kind of non-alcoholic energy drinks.
Okay.
And I'm kind of into that. I would rather have that type of drink in my system than like a Red Bull or a Monster, just because the sugar content in those things is, or the caffeine content in those things is just like out of this world, and my body just doesn't respond to it. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at with
No.
big coffee
I,
guys, for sure.
yeah. I get that. I do 20-ounce Red Bulls at a time, and I'm fine. I hate the fact that I could say that, but it's true. So, um, so what are do you guys have like a not that I I mean if you don't want to share this you don't have to, but like do you guys have like this routine before you go on stage where you're just you and the band for 5 minutes downtime? Do you do a pep talk? Do you raise a glass? Do you do anything like that?
Every band has sort of their own little routine that they do. We've never been a band that does like the whole circle thing and it's like team or something. We don't really do that. We individually all have our own routine, but those routines are pretty much the same. Like we all change maybe about 20, 30 minutes before our set. Most of us, myself and our drummer for sure, we warm up um, before our set. We like to just kind of hang out before the set and just kind of chill, watch the other bands, maybe have like a beer or something. But yeah, so we don't really have like a very refined specific routine, but I notice that we all have the same type of collective way to get ready for a show.
Okay, cool. So it's like your own individual way to warm up.
Exactly. Yep.
All right, cool, cool. So do you guys like work out as a band together, or you guys don't really?
God no. I am probably the most health conscious person in the band, maybe, and I say that with caution because I think that's health conscious is a very broad term, but I would say like in the band, I'm probably the one who probably goes to the gym more frequently than most, and I'm probably the one in the band that does like actively does a certain sport. But I know that our guitar player does go to the gym from time to time. So does our bass player. I know our drummer used to be like a wrestler and stuff. So everybody in the band like has a degree of like fitness or body type that we want to achieve. I don't know that we all can actively achieve it sometimes.
Right. Yeah,
We try.
I get it. But like that's cool. So does your Airbnb have to have some sort of a like workout room or some gym equipment in it?
No, not at all. For us, it's as long as we can just sleep. I'll usually what I end up if there's time because what people don't understand about touring is that there isn't a lot of time, but there is, and I know that that's an oxymoron, but the reality is that you have tons of time on the road.
Right.
Just sit in the van, drive to the next show. You don't have time to sit in a state or a city and just willy-nilly hang out. You don't get that luxury. So I myself find myself trying to actively stay active if we do have a day off. So a couple of days ago, we actually had enough time and the drive was short, so I was able to go. I do jujitsu and I do judo. I've been doing that most of my life. So I was able to go train for the night. Sometimes on the road, we can stop at a Planet Fitness and I'll get a workout if it's early enough, if we've gotten enough sleep. But sometimes, there's some concessions you have to make. It's like, right now, it's like my ideal plan in my head was, oh, we leave at 11. We're going to stay in this town before the show tomorrow, so we have a day off. I want to go to the gym and I want to go to jiu-jitsu. But we kind of fucked off. We hung out at a couple of stops for a little bit. Time got away from us. So we're going to get to the Airbnb and I'm going to get there. And it's like, I probably should do a bunch of work on the computer when it comes to our socials and editing some things. So I'm probably not going to get the time to go to the gym because by the time that I finish editing the stuff, it's probably going to be about midnight. And then I got to get up by 10 in the morning to be out of the Airbnb by 11 and load in by 2. So it's like, it's hard to find the time to do things when you're always short on time.
Yeah. I agree. I definitely agree with that one. Especially when you have a short stay, you got so much to do and so little time. I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've stayed in Airbnbs in Pennsylvania before, and they were nothing but super nice. The owners were very nice and all that. So I'm glad that you guys have the opportunity to be in an Airbnb rather than a hotel room. So
yeah, for sure. So we definitely.
Yeah. All right. So this is actually going to cut out very soon because it cuts off at an hour. So we're going to end now. It's been awesome talking to you. Thank you so much, Alfonso. I know you're driving, and I appreciate the fact that you took my interview anyway.
Of course. So thank you for having me, and you be safe and enjoy your night, okay?
All right. You too. Have a good one, guys.
Bye-bye. See ya. Bye-bye.